Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Actually, I'm not sure what time this is going to air, but happy Saturday nonetheless. I know it's going to be a Saturday. Happy Saturday in the Thrive Tribe, and welcome to another shout out interview. Very excited today. I've been trying to get her on the show for a long time. To welcome Liz Hicks to the show. Liz and I spent 3 years of our lives together on Saturdays, at least 2.5 on Saturdays for a very long time, working on our doctoral programs at USC, right on, and just literally, I think spent Saturdays from about 7 a.m. till about noon in class working together. So it's a pleasure to, it's been a pleasure to get to know you, and a pleasure to have you on the show. So welcome, Liz.
Thanks so much. I'm really excited to be on the show, and it's kind of a great. I really love the Thrive Tribe, and I had all my teachers get on, and just happy to be here.
Okay, well, let me follow up on that statement then. What is it about the Thrive Tribe, or I know you're also involved in the Thrive Tribe for Educators group. What do you like about those groups?
Wow. I love it that there's a lot of resources for my teachers and a lot of really relevant, great articles that people post. And then just little short things like, this is how I'm going to start my class this year that my teachers can take advantage of. I have a fair amount of young, new teachers, and they need resources. So it's really great for them. And for me, it's kind of like just a little push every day of like, remember why you're here, and keep social emotional learning at the forefront of our education system here at Gala. So it's really it's a good reminder too.
Well, good. I'm glad. Tell us a little bit about yourself personally, your personal journey.
Well, I've been an educator for a long time. Almost my entire career has been in LA Unified School District. I was a teacher. Then I became a counselor, an assistant principal over counseling, and then a district level counseling administrator, where I went to all these, I think it was 23 schools I had that I would go through and help them with academics and college counseling. And then I got the idea to start an all-girls school within LA Unified School District, and worked with a group of people to put that plan together. And now I'm the principal of that, founder and principal of that school, the Girls Academic Leadership Academy.
Okay, and this is amazing. So I've been to the school, I visited, and it's just a phenomenal idea. Tell us more. Let's just dive a little bit more in there. How did this idea come about? Why was it important to you, and what makes it different than just having girls and boys together?
So the real reason it started, I was a public school administrator my whole career, and my daughter I have two daughters. One of my daughters got a full scholarship to a private all-girls school, very well known in LA. Nothing I could have ever afforded as a teacher. And so she was really motivated to go there. So she went there, and I kept pulling ideas from the school over to my public school. Technology, different ideas that they were putting forward in their classrooms. And the more I began to think about it, I thought, why can't we have this model in the public school? Like, why can't our girls have the opportunity, if they want to choose it, to have an all-girls experience? And the more I asked, the more people said, well, why not? And so I started a group of educators that were also interested in this idea, and also community members, family members that wanted to have their daughters come to the school. There were about 12 of us that wrote the school plan, and we started out doing research on our own school district. And we found that in elementary school, boys and girls are pretty much equal in math and science. And they hit middle school, nobody really knows what it is that happens besides hormones and peer pressure, and just kind of identity, gender identity. But something happens in middle school where girls stop doing well in math and science and stop pursuing that. And then we found in high school that so their scores go down in middle school. And in high school, they don't take there are plenty of girls in AP English and History, but not that many in AP Chemistry, AP Physics, AP Computer Science. So we wanted to build a place where girls could keep that interest in math and science. We start in 6th grade and we go to 12th. That they would keep that interest 6th, 7th, 8th, and then go on to take those high-level AP courses, and then hopefully go into a career in STEM and go into college in STEM and then career in STEM and stay through that pipeline, because we are seeing across the country that girls and women are coming out of the STEM pipeline at different points. The first being middle, then in high school, even in college, college majors, they come in declaring a STEM major, and then somewhere along the line they get discouraged and come out. And particularly this is true for women of color. So our school is about 73% girls of color, and so we're really trying to build that pathway for them and also include the resilience that we know they're going to need. If they're the only woman or the only woman of color in the room of other professionals, how are they going to build that resiliency and know that they're equal to everyone else and that they can push things forward? So the other side of our school is the social emotional learning frame, which has been from the beginning really important to us, because it's just, if a child is going through something at home and they come to school and they act out, it's not a surprise. But if you don't know what's going on, then you might just think, oh, well, this is just a quote unquote bad kid. But as you start really digging deeper with the kids, you realize that it's not about that at all. They're just acting out for something that's going on internally or within their home or something in a community. We just finished reading Trauma Informed Schools, so we're talking a lot at our school about the different kinds of traumas that kids go through, particularly in an urban environment like LA. So kind of going off track a little bit, but we have each teacher has an advisory. They have the girls from the time they enter the school until the end, so 6th through 12th. And it's half an hour every day. They work on social emotional learning. They work on different career pathways, and lots of different things will come up. And then our teachers meet as grade level teams and talk about, in the 6th grade, what's going on, what's something we need to address, or in the 7th grade, what's going on. And we're finding as we're growing that each grade level has its unique challenges and things we need to address.
That's an incredible. If I had a magic wand in education, there would be advisory in every school, and it would definitely be sticking with the same group for 3 years, 5 years, however long. Because I think that even in our families, we're all so busy, and so there can be. I think there's some disengagement in families that there wasn't 20 years ago, and so having that family at school is critical. We say you got to Maslow before you bloom. Before you can get to Bloom's taxonomy, you gotta meet the Maslow basic needs first. How did you advertise to get kids to be interested in the school? What has been the reaction of students who, are all of a sudden at the school and there's no boys, and what are you seeing as this new flower unfolds, I guess?
Well, it's interesting. The first year I had, once we developed our plan, it was still 3 to 4 years before we got it accepted by the school district. We had to go back and write an all-boys school plan so that there'd be equity in the district, and we did do that. And the district started an all-boys school last year with 6th and 7th graders. So the Boys Academic Leadership Academy, and so. It took some time to get through the system, and a lot of no's along the way. But I did have a couple of people that were really helpful. Our former superintendent, Dr. Michelle King, who also went through the USC program, she was very supportive of the idea. And then also our board member was also very supportive of the school, because he went to an all-boys school. So Dr. George McKenna went to an all-boys school, and he's like, I'm very supportive of single-gender education as a model, something that people can have a choice in. So once we were established and were voted in, it was a unanimous vote of the board. So the board was in agreement on this. I had a year to kind of start getting everything organized. They gave me a location to get all that stuff together. And so I just started going to girls and boys clubs, to community meetings, to any school that would have me come in and talk about what this model was going to be. And in our first year, we already had a waiting list. So we started with sixth grade and ninth grade. We're building a middle and a high school at the same time, which is a little insane of a model, but it's been working. So our first year we had sixth and ninth. We had a wait list for sixth grade starting off. Ninth grade, not so much because, we didn't have a college track record yet. So people were a little uncertain that first year. And then in LA, we've had a lot of charter school. We're not a charter school or district school, but we've had a lot of charter schools fold after the first year. So I think a lot of parents were a little nervous, like, let's see what happens. And so our first year was 6th and ninth. Our second year last year was 6, 7, 9, 10. And this year will be 6 through 11. We'll have our first graduating class 2020. And it's been remarkable growth and remarkable. Our first year, the word started getting out what we were doing. And we ended up having even, teachers, coming and saying, we want to have our child here. So it just kind of blew up because it's one of the only all girls, it is the only all girls district public school in the state of California. So yeah, so we actually have people coming from other districts to our school. So
what do you think is what are the selling points or the benefits of an all girls or an all boys, just a single gender school? What are some of the benefits?
It's really what the girls tell us is that there's less distractions. There's less the peer pressure here, it's here, but it's to be a good student. It's a different kind of peer pressure. So it's no one's making fun of anyone for their academics. Even if they're not doing well, the girls will help them. As females, a lot of times we are helping other people. And we've built a culture here where if someone's falling behind, we help them rather than make fun of them or make them feel bad for not being academically as prepared. Our girls come from 79 different zip codes, so their preparation is really varied. So our teachers do a really good job of helping them come into our highly academic environment and helping them to succeed. So I think the girls would say, less distractions, more people that are concerned about their education and are working hard. And we have a growth mindset. So we say, our biggest thing is yet. Like, I don't know this yet.
Yes, my favorite. That's what I say a lot too.
And the girls will say that too. So I think it's a combination of different things. We have a lot of unique things that we're doing as a school anyway, but I think a lot of it is just being separated out and not having that distraction. And that's what most of the girls say.
And one of the other benefits is that it's smaller than, a comprehensive high school. How do you think that plays in? And how would you like to see that maybe shift in education as a whole?
Well, I've always been a proponent of the small school model. I just don't think that big comprehensive model makes sense anymore. And in fact, I started a small school at my former high school that I worked at. And I think it's just a better model. You're known. I think that's so important, to be known as a student and as a child. And then I think also there's pluses and minuses. We can't offer everything that a comprehensive high school can. So we're very out front with our parents and say, this is a STEM school. They will be taking computer science, and they might not have as much arts. They might not have as much art classes or music classes, but they will have computer science. Right now, in terms of A through G requirements in the state of California, there's no computer component in that. But our girls do take computers through AP Computer Science. So they're going to be really ready for the computer world if they want to go that direction. Yeah, I think we can't offer, for instance, a full drama program or a full music program, but we are adding in the arts right now. So we just hired a music teacher, which we're really excited about, and she's going to do both instrumental and choir, which is unusual for a music teacher to do both. So we're excited about that. And then we have LA Community College offers some art classes after school for our girls. So we try to bring in the arts after school when we can.
Nice.
So,
And you've had some other partnerships with community where the girls have gotten to go somewhere or somebody's come in. I want to say there was like an aerospace.
yeah, we went to
Can you talk
Aerospace
about that a little bit?
Really, well, actually, the Aerospace Corporation was again a contact through USC. One of the people, yeah, one of the people there just reached out to me and said, "Oh, I'm in your program, and we'd love to do work something out." And we had the best day where the girls went down. They built some little rockets to shoot off in the air, and they met with I think a lot of the women of color at the corporation, and really got inspired about aerospace in our first year. So we took all of our girls through, and that was really a great field trip. But one of the things we really do focus on is getting out in the field. We want the girls to be exposed as much as they can to different kinds of industry and things that are out there. So we've gone to Snap, to Google, to aerospace, to Jet Propulsion Lab. We're really trying to get out there so they can see professionals doing different things. When I was recruiting that first year and going to all these schools, I would ask the girls, "What's an engineer to you?" And they kind of look at me with these blank looks. Now, if I say to them, "Do you want to become an engineer?" They're like, "Well, a mechanical or an environmental or a computer." And I'm like, "Great, we've done our work."
Nice, nice. That's so exciting. In all of your busyness, like getting your doctorate degree, at the same time launching a brand new school, how do you take care of your well-being?
Well, not taking care of myself as well as I should be. I had a week off. This is the first week off I've had in 4 years. And I kind of did a lot of reflection and went, okay, I need to start taking better care of myself because I am working 24/7. It's like a startup business for the school. And so I need to start kind of taking care of myself a little bit better than I have. I do work out quite a bit, and that's helpful. I do mindfulness minute usually every day, and then I start my faculty meetings with a mindfulness 5 minutes. So we do a meditation to start the faculty meeting, and that's actually spread into our advisory. So the advisories oftentimes, because the girls come in, they're all excited, or they're very sleepy, depending on the grade level. And you have to kind of get them into school. So having that 5 minutes of just meditation, breathing, now we're back into our school environment has really helped a lot.
Nice. I like it. All right. I'm going to ask you just some random questions.
Okay.
Let's see. What were some of your hobbies as a child?
Hobbies as a child. Good question. I was very active. I like to play tennis. I like to go to the beach, surf, swim, anything revolving water. I loved. And then on the contrary, I love to read. So kind of did both.
Nice. Balance. Okay. If you were invited to a dinner party and you could select any 5 people that you've never met before to come to this party, who would you want to meet, and like what would you want to ask them, or what would you want to glean from this dinner with them? Any 5 people in the world that you don't currently know.
Wow, that's crazy. Alive or not?
Either way, I'll open it up.
Definitely Michelle Obama. I definitely would like to talk to her, especially because she's doing this whole girls kind of making sure girls are getting through school. And like to just hear more about her journey and how she became, interested in girls in particular and in physical fitness. Let's see, Nelson Mandela. I would love to kind of hear how he was able to stay so calm, especially while he was in prison, and be able to go through all those years of hard prison and come out and be able to be forgiving to people who had been so awful to him.
Yeah.
So that would be really interesting conversation. Let's see, who else? Um, Probably, wow, this is hard. Um, I think probably Ellen DeGeneres. I'd like to find out again more about her journey and just the harshness that she was met with when she came out, and um, how has she been able to become such a kind person after going through, I guess I'm kind of doing a theme here of like people going through hardship and being able to come out the other side being forgiving and kind, and um, you know
Really having a sense of grace.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's such a
yeah.
difficult thing, I think, for everyone, I think, to figure out how do you learn lessons and forgive people for their faults and the things that they didn't understand, or the things that they did incorrectly, and that kind of thing. Um, Gosh, I'm trying to think. That was three. Uh, I guess I'd like to. Another one would be Malcolm X, to find out. That journey to Mecca seemed to have completely changed his whole view on everything, and to kind of see what was it about being in Mecca, and truly being engaged in his religion that changed his whole perspective from hate to love, um,
Mm.
and acceptance. I guess I am doing a theme here, huh?
I like this
Yeah,
theme.
just so
I think this is a book. This is
I
like
know,
an
wouldn't that be
interesting book
cool?
story. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a random question. This is a little bit easier. So, if you had a superpower, would you rather be able to be invisible or to fly?
Oh, I'd love to fly. I think that would be so cool. Just to be above everything and look down. I mean, I of course have been on in planes, and I've been in a helicopter once, and it's just a great free feeling. Um, but being able to just jump up and fly, that would be so cool.
I know. I dream about it, sometimes. I
Yeah,
imagine like I'm diving in a pool and I like go to dive, but I'm just flying.
yeah,
That's how I take off
that
in
would
my
be great. I love that.
dreams. Let's see. What do you consider to be your strongest character trait?
Wow, that's a good one. Um, hmm, Strongest characters. You know, it's interesting because at our opening day, we had everybody in the world here. I mean, it was all of LA. Was
Imagine.
the First Lady of LA, Mayor's wife, Amy Wakeland. It was our superintendent, our board members, a lot of press. Um, that every single person who got up said, Liz won't take no for an answer when she believes passionately that something's important for kids. And so every time she would come back to the district, it was 3 years of no's. She would come back with another angle and another way to kind of convince us. And she was right. But she had this whole battle, and the battle was difficult. So I think being able to take that no, come back, and re-strategize as to how to get the yes, because it was something I was so passionate about, that girls should have this. That it costs about $30,000 a year for some of these private schools that are single gender. So for our girls to have that opportunity for free, it just seemed right to me. So I guess it's being passionate about helping others might be
No, it's
a
interesting
long
that
answer for
Yeah, no, it's interesting that you said it because it brought me back. I actually was going to follow up on your question earlier, where you talked about how when you were trying to get this done, you got a lot of no's.
Mhm.
And so I guess I want to follow up on that and what you just said. And if there's somebody out there who wants to do something big, whether it's to open a girls' school or, whatever they're passionate about, and they are met with no after no after no. I guess in my head, I think of this Nike ad that I used to love. I used to have it on my folder that said, "You will be told no 1,000 times no, and you will tell them yes."
Right.
And So I guess what guidance do you have to stay resilient, after hearing no after no after no after no? How do you keep going?
That's a great question. I think if you know in your heart that this is something that needs to happen or something that you need to do, then just kind of going back and saying, yes, I gotta know. Now what can I do? Because I know this is right. I know this should happen. So I think what would help is not being uncertain. Because I know the couple of times that I got really discouraged, I kept going, but you know what? This is right for kids. This needs to happen. So I need to keep trying. And if ultimately I don't get it started, then I need to, help someone else get it started at some point. Um,
Mm.
so oftentimes now I have people come up to me and ask me, and I'm doing public appearances or speeches and saying, how can we do this? And I'm like, here's my email address, here's my phone number, whatever help you need, I will help you, because it's so right to have this for public school girls to have, or boys for the all boys school model, to have just an opportunity. It's just one more model of things that they can do. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but it's at least they have the opportunity, and it's not an economic barrier where they can't do it because they don't have money. So I think probably making sure you're passionate, you feel right in your heart that this needs to happen, and then seeking out people that will help you. I know having Dr. Michelle King on my side and being able to talk to her occasionally and say, I'm just very busy. Just say, hey, I don't really know what to do now. Is there any help you can give me? Was really important. And then just having kind of a network of people around me that would keep bolstering me up when I got discouraged is really important. So having that network is important. And anyone who wants to start an all girls school, I'm happy to help guide you.
Dr. Liz is here to mentor you. She's a woman on a mission.
Exactly.
So and I think I just want to reflect something else I heard. So the network is important. Being committed to your why is important. But you also, it sounds like to me, did not take it personally, and were able to, instead of just being pissed off, angry, that they said no, or that you got a no, you were able to self-reflect and say, okay, how can I just present this or change this in a way where it will be heard? And, I think that is critical, because sometimes we can hold on and we just want to keep saying it the same way, and it's not heard. So kudos to you, Liz, Dr. Liz, for all of your
it's so fun to have that
perseverance and all
doctor
of
in
that.
front of our name, right?
I know, it's so weird. I'm like, hey, that's right, I'm a doctor.
When I passed my defense, I actually did my defense here at my school. I don't know, it was like an afternoon. I had to just run up to a classroom, find an empty classroom and do it. And when I told my teachers the next day I had, and this is what a great community is, the next day I had a pile of notes on my desk from students saying, congratulations, and we knew you could do it. And it was just amazing to have that pile of notes up there. It was like, oh, okay.
I know. It really is quite an accomplishment. Sometimes I forget, and I hope I have to probably savor that a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Here's a question that I ask everyone, and so don't overthink, just kind of say what pops into your mind. But if you could teach the world just one thing, and granted, the world needs lots and lots of lessons, but if they could learn one from Dr. Liz, what would you want to teach them?
Oh, again, it's a hard question. To be compassionate and to kind of put yourself in the other person's shoes. So I think when you were talking earlier about, kind of went back and reframed things. As I was reframing it, I'm thinking, how are they going to hear my message? Because they're not obviously not hearing it the way I'm putting it forward. So let me figure out another way, given what their position is or what their philosophy is, that they will hear it, because it's an important message. So I think just kind of putting yourself in someone else's position or shoes, or thinking about how they're thinking about things, I think would be really helpful.
Nice, thank you. All right, now is an opportunity you have to ask me One question.
Oh, it's so hard. I want to ask you so many. Probably someone's asked this before, but what's your inspiration and your motivation to keeping? I can't imagine how much work it is to do the Thrive Tribe. Like, what keeps you going?
Hmm. So I've done a lot of work around, what is my purpose, and I've had many hows. So I've had many jobs, but my purpose has really been the same. When I really reflected, I've had the same purpose throughout many jobs, and that is influencing, inspiring, and igniting humans to thrive. I did it as, when I worked at the bank as a teller and a new accounts, and I did it as a teacher, and I worked at a psychiatric hospital. I did it there, wherever I've been, I think I tried to incorporate that. And so when I'm doing that, there is no time. It feels like flow. Mm-hmm. And so the Thrive Tribe is really the first thing I do in the morning. My first hour or so of the day, I get some coffee. Before I turn on the internet, I kind of do some meditation and think, what is my message today? What's the one little thing that I need to know, either for myself or for the world? And I create a poster. And that's kind of how I start my day. And then the poster usually gives me ideas for articles that I want to share in the Thrive Tribe. And it is time consuming. Sometimes I could spend 3 hours because I'm like, I'm going to find all these articles related to this, and I get all crazy. And other days I'm like, I don't have time to do that. But I think what keeps me going is when one person said, oh my God, I needed to see this today. Thank you for this article. Thank you for this poster. I needed to have this message. And I'm like, okay. Oh, I get emotional thinking about it. But I think that's what drives me is for whatever reason, it's kind of a weird thing, like to be a group. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be this group person. I don't know. But I just feel when I'm doing it that I'm helping others in a way that I can. Other people have other people start schools for girls. And this is, I think I like to play, and I like people to learn in a kind of a safe way. And that, I think the Thrive Tribe offers that. It's like, here's a safe spot where we're all going to love you. You can ask any questions. We're going to give you support. And it's just a safe place to be.
And you do an amazing job on it. I mean, even when we first met, like 3 years ago, or 4 almost now, when we first met, I knew that, you had in your heart the SEL, and that you're social emotional learning, and that you're, that was your mission. I mean, it was obvious to everyone else, I think, but also, you found your niche. And I think it's really, it's so important. It really is. I do look at those every day, and I do, farm stuff out to my teachers, and anyone who's not on it, I kind of go, oh, look at this article, and look at how great this is, and how about this idea? So you're doing a great job. So thank you.
Thank you. And I, the Thrive Tribe is sort of my gift out, because it's not, I don't get paid for doing the Thrive Tribe. It doesn't pay my bills, but I think the other time when I'm in a tribe, in a facilitating professional learning, that is also my flow. Like, I don't recognize any time. I could be sick. I don't even notice. Like, maybe the first 10 minutes where I'm kind of just getting a feel of the room. And then after that first 10 minutes, I'm just like, I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't do anything. I'm just happy. Like, they have to remind me, hey, we gotta take a break. Anyways, thank you so much for being here, Liz. So good to see you. And actually, I'll be seeing you next week, because we're going to do a little SEL training together. So for all the rest of you, we want to know your story. It's so important. Everyone has a story, and we want to know yours. So please contact me and say that you're willing to do an interview. I will hunt you down as well and ask you, please say yes. So thank you. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.